our family traditions is that each year on their birthday, we tell our children the story of their birth. For example, my son Drew, on his birthday, we talk about the excitement of his birth as he was first in lots of ways. Drew was the first child for me and my wife, Jana. He was the first grandchild for either set of grandparents. And Jana and I were the first of our friends to have a child. There was lots of excitement over this new life that we were about to experience. We knew Drew's arrival was coming soon, and sure enough, one day while I was at work, Jana called me, and she asked me to come right home without dawdling. I can sometimes dawdle. So I went home, and we started timing contractions. You see, we had read all the books about pregnancy. We'd studied up, so we knew that when Jana's water broke or her contractions were 5 minutes or less apart, that we should head to the hospital. So we timed those contractions. I had my stopwatch out, and they went from 7 minutes apart to 4 minutes apart, and then quickly to 3 minutes apart. We scrambled to head to the hospital. What happened to this magical 5-minute mark that we were supposed to hit? So we arrived at the hospital right at shift change, which is a fabulous time to arrive. And Jana was her usual smiling self, and no one believed she was in labor, including the nurses in triage. But she was. And we eventually realized Drew was coming, and he was coming soon. So they called our doctor to come deliver Drew, but he was at a showing at the Wharton Center of The Lion King. Well, eventually the doctor did make it to the hospital, and Drew became known in the delivery unit as the Lion King baby. Drew was born late in the evening on February 3, and well, that date was significant for me because I won my laboratory's pool for correctly guessing Drew's birth date. Score! When Jana and I tell these birth stories, we tell our children, Drew and Kate, about our anticipation of their birth. There's great anticipation. And we talk about the trip to the hospital, and we tell them about coming home with this crazy bundle of joy, this new responsibility. After the birth of each of our children, I felt like, are they just going to let me leave the hospital with this thing? As we tell those stories, the story doesn't end, though, with our children as babies. We continue to talk to them about who they are and who they're becoming today. They're certainly young adults now. Beginning with their birth, there are stories we tell that remind our children of who they are and where they've come from. Which brings us to our first question for discussion. Turn to someone and ask this question or put your answer in the chat. What do you know about your own birth story? Share as much as you know about the circumstances of your birth.